So started working, and this is not uncommon of like somebody coming in with pretty specific OCD. Like this is a symptom that I'm having. I'm having these thoughts of losing control and harming someone, or this these thoughts of being really germy. And so it's like this very specific obsession and compulsion. And as you're working on the OCD, you're really making contact with these specific images and thoughts, they start really losing hold on a person. So it just starts really feeling more like, okay, blah, 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 like death, 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 skull, skull, skull. So you're doing these targeted exposures and they start melting away. But the mental process of, oh no, something feels wrong, I need to fix it, is still in place. And we all have that in our brains. It just gets overactivated with anxiety disorders, this sense of controlling what can't be controlled. But the very catchy OCD themes might go away. So for this client, he was reviewing a business deal that he's moving through, and he's committed to, like, even though in this case, he has a business partner that he wants to let go because it's really not good for the business, but his financial funders say he needs to keep his business partner for the next 3 or 4 months at least, just because it will look too unstable. So this decision has been made of what's going to happen, but then he keeps, even over the call that we just had, like thinking, his brain as a compulsion keeps thinking, well, maybe I can make it better with the partner, or maybe it just makes sense to just let him go if it just blows up now. But it's really out of his control. Like there's a plan in place, but because it feels so uncomfortable to sit there knowing for the next 4 months, 5 months, something is wrong. And that's always been the thing, is that like if death, the feeling of death, which is really just the feeling of wrong, darkness, gets on his new computer or his new apartment, he always wants to he loves what it feels like when things feel right, and he doesn't like when things feel wrong. And so it originally showed up as OCD themes, but now it's really just like, I know this isn't the right plan for the next 5 months. I really want to let him go now-ish, but I have to sit there in this wrong state. And so we were kind of talking about how it's sort of like sitting there in a room with a spill on like your brand new carpet that if I just could clean it up, and then things will feel so much better. But the reality is there's not an instant solution that he can engage in. So he has a plan, but it's still the compulsion of thinking. Problem solving is his compulsion. He's not doing compulsions of looking at a picture differently or trying to look away from anything that thinks of death, but he keeps trying to figure out, like, what can I do differently about this? Problem solving is his way of washing away the just wrong, and it's not working. So over the course of the call, like just pointing out, like just practice noticing when your brain is engaging in that compulsion, because the hard thing about thinking compulsions, problem solving when it's really just a compulsion, is that it happens so fast, and it's very it's not obvious. You're not just thinking like no death, no death, no death. It's something that feels like you're just thinking how you're just doing problem solving in an effective way. So we were really kind of shifting to more of a GAD protocol in terms of tolerating lack of control, keep catching your mind when it's engaging in this thinking compulsion and reminding it, we might not like this, but this is the plan. And just keep engaging in response prevention. And we spoke about some uh, exposure to like kind of rolling around in the wrong. Like, this is wrong. My business is wrong. I have to live in this wrong state for my business. So the exposure in that case was imaginal of just like picturing all these wrong things and you're just rolling around in it versus like fighting against it. And we spoke about, you can spend 4 months like fighting against, it's like you're shackled and you're just spending 4 months fighting against that and you can't get free, or you could accept that, but then use your energy towards what can you do with your legs? What can you do with your mind? You could spend the next 4 months fighting against what is, or there's so many other ways you want to use your energy. So it was an interesting shift. The themes are definitely much more GAD as he's learned how to work with the really obvious ones. And at this point, he would love a good death theme over something that is so integrated into his life, because I don't think he ever realized how much easier it would be to go for that versus something that feels so like normal thoughts.